Good morning. Today we are beginning Unit 2, and Unit 2 comprises of indicators 5 and 6, and both of these are big units because it covers a lot of stuff. And as you can see, we're going to indicator 5 today, and our learning target, I can fluently perform operations with decimals. So wherever you hear the word operations, we are talking about, think about order of operations. Okay, so operations basically means PEMDAS. All right, and then that's PEMDAS meaning parentheses, exponent, multiplication, division, addition, subtraction. And then when you go to older grades, you're going to have brackets and so much more. But right now, we are just going to focus on PEMDAS. Okay, so this topic, this indicator, has basically a lot going on. So we have adding and subtracting decimals, we have multiplying decimals, and we have dividing decimals. So I am going to break the video up into 3 different parts so that you can go and select whether you are going over adding and subtracting decimals. That'll be the first one. The second video under indicator 5 will be multiplying decimals, and the last indicator, the third indicator under indicator 5, will be dividing decimals. So when you're reviewing the material, make sure you watch all 3 videos because all 3 of them comprise indicator 5. Okay, so let's start when it's saying I can fluently perform operations, addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. This is what we're talking about. And in this, we are going to be covering these 3. All right, so let's start with adding and subtracting decimals. And if I give you 1 and 5700, and please remember to say the numbers how you've written it. Instead of point, because point basically just means this. Okay, so make sure you learn to say whatever you've learned in the past, based on place values. So we are going to use the correct mathematical terms for the numbers over here. Okay, and then we have plus 2 and 3 thousandths. So let me show you really quick a very easy way to remember as to what is the place value. Okay, so all I always tell my students from the past several years is this. If I have a number written like this, we know that there is no number called 1th. There's nothing like that. Okay, before the decimal, you have ones over here. And then after the decimal, it starts with tenths. And, it's just going, it's like the decimal is your mirror. Always think of it that way. And then both sides are reflected. The only number that we do not reflect is ones. You don't say 1th. Because on this side would be tens and hundreds. So now on this side, we just have tens, hundreds, and so on. All right. Now, the best way to remember as to how did I say 1 and 5700 instead of doing all this long procedure, it is best to, if I had the number written out like this, just put an imaginary 1 under the decimal, okay? And then put zeros after this for each of these. So now this is saying 100, right? So, but after the decimal, we have hundreds. So all I would say is 1 and 5700. So that's how easy it becomes. Same thing if I had 2 and 3 thousandths. All I did, put a little 1 here, and then you know that 1,000 has 3 zeros, so this would be 2 and 3 thousandths. Okay, so behind the decimal, you basically read whatever number it is. If I had 5 and 867,000. So basically, what are you doing? You are reading the decimal is always, wherever the decimal is, you always say and. Okay? So 5 and read this number exactly how it is. That's 867 thousandths because that's the place value it is. All right? So it becomes really, really easy to read numbers like this. 9 and 6/10. So as you can see, if you just write it down like this, or if you think of it in your head, how many zeros are there after the decimal, that's the place value. It's a hundredth or thousandth or 10,000th, whatever it is. Okay, that you get. If I had this, here we go. So in this case, it would be 5 and 8,679 10,000ths. Okay, so as simple as that. Okay, so just wanted to make sure that you understand the place values before we start adding and subtracting. Okay. Now, for adding and subtracting decimals, a very, very important thing to remember is that you have got to align the decimals. So always put it in a column format. So it is simple and it is easy to calculate, and you are not making mathematical errors. Very often, I'm telling you from all these experiences, that I've been teaching in math, students always think they can do the shortcut and they just do this plus this and all the kind of stuff straight up when it is written horizontally, and then that's where they make the most mistakes also. So my suggestion, always put it in the column format, and then it becomes so much easier to compute. Okay, so here we go. 1 and 57 thousandths. Remember, same place values under same place values. So this is going to be 2 and 3 thousandths. So make sure that you are aligning the decimals. You're writing ones and ones in the same column, tenths in the same column, hundredths in the same column, and thousandths in the same column. Now, as you can see, there is nothing over here. So we are going to annex a 0. Annex a 0. So that is the term, mathematical term that we need to remember. Annexing means inserting a 0 in all the empty spaces. So I'm going to just insert this, which is called annexing a 0. This is what this means. Okay? Now, put the addition or the subtraction sign, and be very careful because sometimes you rush and instead of subtraction you do addition, instead of addition you do subtraction. So be careful as to what it's asking. Okay, so if I'm adding this and I've annexed a 0, so I know that 0 plus, and please start on the extreme right column and then move towards the left when you are adding or subtracting. Okay, so 0 plus 3 is 3. 7 plus 0, 7. 5 plus 0, 5. Please bring decimal down in exactly the same place. And 1 plus 2 is 3. Okay? Always circle your answers so it's nice and clear. And then my answer here is 3 and 573 thousandths. 3 and 573 thousandths. Okay, so this is how we add. Let's try a problem with subtraction. Okay, all right, let me give you 1 and 8/10 minus 59 hundredths. Okay, now again, please remember the rule. Same place values under same place values, decimals under decimals, and that's how we are going to use to subtract decimals. Okay, whether it's addition, subtraction, remember that rule. So first number goes here, 1 and 8/10 minus 0 and 59/100. Okay, so you can see same place value under same place value, decimals under decimals. Okay, please do not do this. This is a no-no. Do not write it like this. Oh, geez, you're going to get a totally incorrect answer. That's not the correct way. This is incorrect. Okay, you just can't try to squeeze the numbers in just because you see that that has 2 digits. So let me just, push the decimal over. We can't do that in addition or subtraction. All right. So align the decimals, align the same place values. Since there is nothing above the 9, I've got to subtract. So I need a number there anyways. So I am going to annex a 0. I'm going to annex a 0. Okay, now this is subtraction, and I have seen students do this, so that is why I'm saying what you will not do. You will not go backwards and write 9 minus 0 is 9. That's not how we subtract. Okay, so in this case, we are going to see we cannot take away 9 from 0. So we are going to borrow from 8. If I'm borrowing 1 from 8, 8 becomes 7. All right, and then the 0, because I borrowed 1, is going to become 10. Okay, so now I can easily subtract because 10 minus 9 gives me 1. 7 minus 5 gives me 2. Decimal under decimal, 1 minus 0 gives me 1. And so my answer is 1 and 21/100. Okay, so this is how we subtract. So I'm just going to go ahead and do one more practice problem with you just so that you understand the concept really clear. All right. So if I give you 5 and 114 thousandths plus 3 and 2500, okay, and then I'll give you, well, let's do addition first. So we're going to write down the numbers. We have 5 and 114 thousandths plus 3 and 25 hundredths. Okay, under the 4 there's nothing, so I'm going to annex a 0, and then I am going to add. Okay, so 4 plus 0 is 4, 5 plus 1 is 6, 2 plus 1 is 3, decimal under decimal, and 5 plus 3 is 8. So 8 and 364 thousandths is my correct sum. Okay, so let's do one with subtraction. And if I say 7,500 minus 3 thousandths, okay, we are again going to write this down. You'll do 75 hundredths minus 3 thousandths like this. Remember, decimal under decimal, same place value under same place value. Okay, and now we are going to annex a 0 here. And as you can see, we cannot take away 3 from 0, so we have to borrow 1 from the neighbor on the left. So this 5 is going to become 4, and this 0 will become 10. Okay? And so then we have 10 minus 3 is 7, 4 minus 0 is 4, and 7 minus 0 is 7, decimal under decimal, and we have a 0 in the front. So this is 747 thousandths. All right, so please remember this rule once again. This is just a review of what you have done in the past, but just making sure that you do not make mistakes. If I give you something like all right, this is the one where I always see common mistakes. Please do not make those mistakes. This is what I see children do. Okay, again, this is a no, because we are not doing this incorrect method. But I'm just showing you the common mistakes that I still see in 6th grade. So people do this. And then they write 4 plus 6 is 10, and here. So this is absolutely incorrect. Please don't do stuff like that. You've got to align the decimals. You know that 4 is a whole number. A whole number is a number that does not have a fractional or a decimal part attached to it. Okay, so that's a whole number, and the 6/10 is the decimal or the fractional part. So it is a number that is going to go behind the decimal. Okay, so if there's nothing here, this is what we're going to do. This is 6/10, and since 4 is a whole number, I can put decimal, and then I am going to annex a 0. Okay, and so when I add, this actually gives me 6 over here, 6/10, and then I have the 4. So 4 and 6/10 is the answer. So be very, very careful how you are placing those numbers in your addition and subtraction. Remember to do it based on columns. All right. Okay, so this was the first operation with decimals, which is addition and subtraction. Remember, if you have only addition and subtraction, let's say I have another thing here where I've written 5 and 114 thousandths plus 3 and 25 hundred minus something. So you can have several listings. When you only have addition subtraction, just go from left to right, and that is the order of operation based on PEMDAS. When only addition and subtraction are left, you just go from left to right. If this was subtraction and the next number was addition, it doesn't matter. You just go from left to right. All right. Have a good day.